Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I'm Suriati binti Jamalludin from Universiti Malaysia, Pahang. So today, I would like to present my findings on crisis effect methodological proposal for the analysis of e-assessment model in teaching and learning for new normal phase implementation. First of all, I would like to introduce my table of contents. I have 5 sub-contents, which first is assessment functionality, second is crisis impact toward assessment, third is overview of assessment, fourth is methodological analysis, and finally is the conclusion. So we go through for the first sub-contents, which is assessment functionality in teaching and learning during 21st century. We have to remember that assessment is make use on engagement between educator and learner. An educator can be a lecturer or instructor. Besides that, we have to justify or we have to notice that ICT is used to make an engagement between educator and learner. There are various of ICT tools that has been provided to make an engagement, so that such as computer, desktop, laptop, notebook, and many more. In terms of that, we have the capability of the crisis impact on assessment. Unfortunately, for the current issue, our world has been hit by the pandemic of COVID-19 as a crisis issue. In terms of that, the emergency shifted assessment platform from online to online. Because of emergency, assessment activity have the potential to cause discontent, irritation, and anxiety in the summative assessment approach. These statements has been quoted by the LOSAT ETEL 2020. When the crisis occurs, the overview of assessment are described and arranged in a various perspective. Overview of assessment. We have two main overview of assessment. First is assessment is not a priority anymore, and the second one is the assessment is proceeded for learning and teaching survival purposes with input result ignorance. We go back to the assessment is not a priority when assessment is cancelled immediately during crisis. And second one, the teaching and learning focus on online instruction and technology during crisis. At the same time, they also skip the assessment as if cause the faculty to be overburdened. And next we go through for how an assessment is proceeded for learning and teaching survival purposes. First, the assessment format changes based on a learner requirements, and the second one, grading evaluation letter to pass and fail are diverted. Therefore, I found out that the crisis bring me on the study of e-assessment model. At the same time, I find 3 approaches on the methodology analysis of a new e-assessment model. First is the prior e-assessment models from 2009 until 2020. And the second one is the environment or the situation discovery. And finally, the third one is the analysis component, including objective, conceptual criteria, methods, and techniques. The priority e-assessment model can define according from 9 e-assessment models from 2009 until 2020. From the table that been stated here, I find out that the previous e-assessment only discover the environment on pre-crisis or in a normal situations. So, how about how the e-assessment model able to cooperate in crisis environment? This is the question that make me go further and study on e-assessment in new normal form. Next, we go to the analysis component. We found out the first analysis component is objective. According from the 9 e-assessment model, we found out they have two main objectives that trigger them to develop the e-assessment model. The first objective is the requirement of the direct stakeholder, especially from the student or learner, lecturer or educator, or the policymaker. Okay, and the second one is the advancement of technology movement. And the second component is the concept. The concept is the highlighted factors of the e-assessment conceptual model. The factors are represented as an element, a dimension, a principle, or the strategy. According from the 9 e-assessment model, we find out that there are seven significant factors that should be highlighted. First is authenticity. Second is responsive, practicability, adaptation, transparency, alignment, and affordance. So that the highlighted factors is selected because according to the frequent use based on the frequent use by the 9 e-assessment models according from 2009 until 2020. The next component is the method. How they cooperate, what is the method that used to cooperate of the e-assessment development. So we note that they have 20% of e-assessment model use the quantitative method to develop, to identify their e-assessment model. However, 80% of them use the qualitative and mixed method to justify their e-assessment model. And the next component is the techniques. The techniques represent the meaningful assessment activity that are relevant in mapping to the concept. A learner's learning experience via the learner strategy contribute to the ultimate learning result, such as what they have learned and how effectively they have learned it. And finally is the conclusion. According of the overview or the overall articles, e-assessment case study during an emergency determines that is supposed to tolerate or flexible with learning outcomes in order to survive. However, when referring to the emergency reaction during crisis, there are two options has been applied. Firstly, the direct duplicate the offline assessment activities to online will produce the reliability and validity issue, as this approach is used to improve the learning and performance standard. And the second one, there is possibility misalign occurs when amendment of activity in assessments are not parallel to concept and outcome learning in a way it can be proceeded continuously for survival. That's all from me. Thank you.